Tutors, mentors, and the city with your host.com.
The City Tutors presents
Tutors, mentors, and the city
with your host.com.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Kevin.com Brown, and welcome to Tutors, Mentors, in the City. And please, like we do every episode, help me in joining our guest, Mr. David Covington. Yay!
Hey, Kevin, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So I'm just full disclosure to any of our viewers. Typically, anybody that's watched multiple episodes will know that I do no research preparing for my guests. I try to keep the spontaneity, and I try to get to know people as the viewers are getting to know them. But this is one of the exceptions. This might be the first exception because this gentleman here I actually do know. And we've actually had long conversations prior to the podcast, and he was one of the first people that I made connection with when I returned back to college. So this conversation is going to be a little different in the sense of I'm not getting to know him the same time our viewers are. So I'm going to be asking you questions that I do not know, Dave, but I also might ask you a couple questions that I already know the answer to. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that being said, I'm gonna ask you a question because this has been a pattern that's been developing in my interviews. Right. People always email me and say, "Can you send me the questions you're going to ask?" And I'll say, "I could send you questions, but I'm probably not going to ask them." Right.
Right.
I come from the Tracy Morgan school of preparation, right? We don't prepare for anything. We just flow. And as nutty as Tracy Morgan is, he's one of the best at that. He's one of the best at being unprepared and having a ball. Now, that being said, the pattern that's been developing is I've been asking people about their names, right? The name Covington, it sounds like an English lord that you'd see on Downton Abbey. Do you know the roots of Covington?
It's definitely English. Yes, it's on my father's side, English, Scottish heritage. My mom's side is Spanish and Czechoslovakian. But yeah, Covington, English all the way, man. You hit it right on, nail on the head.
Okay, so in your household, which culture was claimed in your household growing up?
Well, my dad left when I was pretty young. So okay. That side of the family wasn't really, and that culture wasn't really embraced. It was actually more the Spanish side. And funny enough, I just did Ancestry.com about a year or so ago. And I was shocked to learn that, according to DNA, that the Spanish percentage in my DNA was a lot lower than I had thought because, my great grandmother came over on the boat. My grandmother was first born here. And that was just played up. We're Spanish, but it was like, 15% Spanish. So there's all this whole other stuff in my DNA. It's just a mutt, a European mutt.
So in your household, did you grow up speaking Spanish? Did your household speak Spanish?
Tiny bit, hello, how are you? My name is kind of stuff. My grandmother spoke fluent, but she didn't really encourage her children to speak Spanish. It was that generation where you assimilate, you get to you speak English as quickly as you can, and you stick with that. So it wasn't passed along. I wish it was.
Okay, so I know. When I first met you, I was an undergrad. I was getting my bachelor's degree, and now I'm doing the master's thing. And
congratulations again.
Well, thank you. And there's a language obligation or something where I either take a language or I pass a language test. So I'm doing Duolingo.
Oh, nice.
With Spanish, right? I'm on a 35-day streak with Duolingo.
Oh, buena suerte.
I don't know if you're familiar with Duolingo. For viewers unfamiliar, they have these cute little animated characters, and it's real fun, and it's 10, 15-minute lessons. It's really user-friendly. But the question is, would you need Duolingo to go survive in a Spanish community in a Latin land? Could you survive in it on your own based on your upbringing?
Oh, you can, I feel like I can always understand a lot more than I can speak. So survive, probably, but it would be pretty limited living. So a little Google Translator would be helpful.
Okay. So, now let's move forward. Well, you said this is another thing that's becoming a trend, because I'm getting more aware of my heritage, my lineage and such, more curiosity about it. So you said you did the genealogy thing.
Oh, ancestry. Yeah.
Yes, ancestry. How far can you trace back?
Oh, I can trace back to my, oh God, I think it was my great grandparents, and on both sides of the family. But I haven't like really tried to go further. I probably could. I just haven't tried. With any of those, little things, I sort of hit a limit to how far I can do it at this moment, and then I'll come back to about a year.
Absolutely, I know the feeling. I know exactly the feeling. Okay, where were you born?
Annapolis, Maryland.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, now that was by the Air Force, the military,
the Naval Academy.
Naval Academy, yes.
My high school was right downtown on the top of a hill. So whenever after school, I'd walk down with friends, grab something from downtown, and midshipmen are everywhere. Yeah, right in the middle of it.
Yeah. So was that by design, like military in your family or something?
Yeah, my grandfather was Air Force, and he was not stationed at the Naval Academy, but he was stationed last in the area. I can't remember if it was Fort Meade or if it was one of the other bases. And he just decided to settle in Annapolis. And so, I mean, that's why we're there.
Okay. Public school, private school?
Catholic school, which
Catholic
was private,
school.
so Catholic school, yeah.
Okay. And what was that like for young David Covington?
Well, listen, I mean, my family, very religious, growing up, Catholic all the way. So it made sense. It was right at the time for us. I will say that I didn't think that the education was amazing. It was, small class sizes. I did well in school. But I didn't feel like the education really prepared me for college, particularly in writing. Math was great, excellent education, but writing, I struggled that first semester of college to kind of really keep up.
Did you ever need a tutor in early school, elementary school, middle school, high school?
No, I was very fortunate that my mother was very, I mean, she was well educated. She did not have a college degree, but she was very involved with us. So she really served as our tutor. And also my aunt, who has 2 master's degrees, is a teacher herself. She would often step in and help out as well. So we kind of had built-in tutoring happening in the family. I was fortunate. I didn't have to reach out to, external services.
Okay, for any of the viewers, I asked that question from that slant because City Tutors is you may or may not know if you're watching this. City Tutors was founded at City College by Gary Rifkin, our executive director and fearless leader. And we offer, he calls it a startup nonprofit, and we offer free tutoring and mentorship to typically underserved populations. So that's my plug for the City Tutors. But now, that being said, you mentioned you had siblings.
I had siblings, older brother, 2 younger sisters.
Okay, so you were smushed in there in the middle.
Yeah, middle child.
Where did you? How much older and how much younger?
My older brother is 4 years older, and then my 2 younger sisters, 4 years and 6 years younger.
Okay, that's a nice spread. I'm similar. My older brother's like 3.5 years older. My younger sister, though, she's 13 years younger. But we're all very tight. We're all best buddies. But
Are they around here?
yeah. They're around here. We're very close. My younger sister, also graduated from City College.
Oh, cool.
My brother went to Lehman College. So we're all CUNY. We're all CUNY kids. My mom's went to Lehman College.
Right.
And my brother went to music and arts when it was on City College campus.
Where A. Philip Randolph is now at
Where A. Philip,
35th and Convent, yeah.
Yes. So all of my siblings, we all have that in common. We rode the 33 bus and we went up those steps in the park on St. Nicholas.
Wait, did you go to music and art as well?
No, but I'm saying when I went to City, when I coming to City College.
Right. I know. But so where did you go to high school then? In the city?
I went to Brooklyn Tech.
Brooklyn Tech. That's right. I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I went to Brooklyn Tech. It was a dumb decision. Coming from the Bronx, my mother, she piled us in the car as kids to take us to Coney Island. So I fell in love with Brooklyn because of Coney Island. And when I heard there was a high school in Brooklyn called Brooklyn Tech, I figured I'd go to Brooklyn Tech, and then during my lunch hour, I could go. I run across the road to Coney Island, get on a few rides, and then come back to school.
Yeah.
Nobody told me they were 30,000 miles apart. Brooklyn
I was going to say, it'd take you half a day.
And I make this joke now, how dumb smart people could be, right? Now, I say that on City College campus. I say that in academia, and I'm in the back of my mind, I'm thinking people who hear me say that on campus may think I'm referring to them, but I'm not. I'm referring to me because I was always the smartest kid in my classes as a young lad, but as a smart kid, I got skipped from 7th to 9th grade. I was always identified as brilliant, as smart, as accelerated. But that decision to go to Brooklyn Tech because I'm going to go to Coney Island on my lunch break, that might have been one of the stupidest decisions. That might have been one of the stupidest decisions a smart kid could make in his life.
Kev, I think it's okay if you actually even were referring to those professors and staff and faculty on our campus, because it's important that we all remain humble anyway, and that we're not always the smartest person in the room, no matter how degreed we are.
Yes. I tell you on the side, I had a conversation with the provost, and in the conversation, I felt like he may have thought I was talking about him. But I said, the problem with smart people think their opinions are facts, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I believe every smart person, every academic can fall into that category.
I agree.
But when I said it, I was not referring to him, but we're not buddies. We didn't. So I feel like I should circle back to him one day and apologize if he misunderstood, because I wasn't talking about the provost. I don't know him like that.
Just send him this recording, then he'll understand.
Yes. Okay. So we were talking about your we went on a tangent to me being in high school and my family and whatever, but I think it came from the placement, where you placed in your family. I think that's where I was.
Yeah.
With the kid sisters and the older brother and the spread, the dynamic. Okay, so you went to Catholic school. Did you go to Catholic high school?
Yeah, it was K through 12. The school was K through 12. Yeah.
All right. So young David Covington, finishing up high school.
Yeah.
Where do you go? What do you do?
I went on tour. I was back. So I was 12 years old, and I wanted to do something a little different. So my family had enrolled me in a tap dance class, and to me, it was sort of, okay, I'll do it. I loved it. I fell in love, and it became something more of like a puzzle. I had to put it together. So fast forward 4 years, I'm at the end of my high school career, and on a whim, I went up to New York and auditioned for a show called Tap Dogs. It was a show out of Australia. Dean Perry's the choreographer, and I got it. So I said, okay, well, we're going to put college on hold for at least a year. And I went up to New York and trained with the company up at Union Square Theater, and then went on tour for a year with them. And then I did a show with them in Vegas as well, and Reno. So it was pretty cool. That's what I did. I decided to go full speed into performing arts and do professional tap dancing for a bit.
You know, Dave, you're making me laugh because I thought we were going to lose some spontaneity because we actually know each other and have talked.
No,
I never would have expected. I never would have guessed that.
Now, college was very important to me, though. It was always on the brain, and I had been accepted early to American University and a number of other colleges in the area. So it had always been a plan to go back to school, and that's exactly what I did. Is once I sort of finished that tour, that additional few shows with them, I arranged to come back to get my degree. But it's funny how important that year was in shaping my life. It was basically like a glorious internship, right? I mean, sure, I got paid for it. It wasn't a free one, but it was definitely a huge learning opportunity. And it completely changed where I thought I was going to go. So all of a sudden my head was in performing arts management. And yeah, that's what I'm doing today, just slightly different now in education field.
Yes, let's unpack that for a minute. So,
oh yeah, sure.
you come home. Hey, Ma, I got it.
Yeah.
What does Mom say? What does the siblings say? What does the family say?
Yeah, the reaction was everyone was very supportive. I will say, I had my family surprisingly was very, very supportive of me going into the arts, and I say surprisingly because my brother. Straight up computer science, systems security guy, works out in the tech world in California. My sisters were both in education. So to have this sort of, and I never thought I'd be in the arts, but to kind of, it was a shift for us, for someone to be considering to go into performing arts. But right off the bat, it was proven to be successful. Like there was a good paycheck coming in and a great credit. So it was really encouraged. My mom at the time when I got the show, I was 17. So my mom, much to my embarrassment, actually came on a portion of the tour with me, right? It was like, okay, David, you can sign this contract, but I'm coming with you. So there are certainly moments of the tour where I remember being very good. And there are other moments when I got to, really hang with the guys and party a bit. And it was a different tour. It was the different tour when Mom was there and when she wasn't.
Yes, that's what I was going to unpack because I'm a professional actor. I'm in the union, so I know about the Jackie Coogan laws and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So you being a minor, 17 was still considered a minor, right? So
it was, but the dance show was not union. Okay. So it didn't fall under any AGMA or AFTRA or what's I was part of Equity for many years
right.
as well in Washington, because I performed as a professional actor for many years. And so we didn't have to follow any of those rules. It was really more our choice. It was the law of Mom that came in and settled in. And I have to say, like, I have some wonderful memories touring around and visiting places with her. So, it was really the best of both worlds. I was able to grow up a bit, when she wasn't there. And then when she was, we got to bond. So it was really great. Wouldn't change.
How long did she stay? Till you turned 18, till she was comfortable with the setup? What was the deal?
It was both, because there were moments, she had 2 younger kids that she was still taking care of. So she'd fly back and forth. We had, very involved grandparents that would watch the girls while she was out with me, but she had to go back quite often. But yes, it was really just until I turned 18, and she felt comfortable. It was both. Yeah.
Okay, nice. So tour, where did this tour take you?
It's all over the United States. We visited 36 cities. And ultimately also got to do a couple of industrials with them in Bali. I did a sit-down show with them in Vegas for 3 months, and I also did a sit-down show in Reno for 3 months.
Wow. Were you the baby on the tour, or was everybody young?
No, I was definitely the baby. Well, there was one. So there were two tours that went out at the same time, and there was another baby on the other tour. So there were two kids that were at 17. Later found out the other kid, he totally lied about his age. He was actually like 15 when he was hired, and
Wow.
nobody knew. You know, they signed. It was, yeah, it's fine. He's an amazing
Wow.
tap dancer, though. It was nice to. I'm glad he went on tour.
Yes, yes, that's exciting. That's an exciting, very exciting surprise to me to just hear that side of you. Uh, do you still dance? Do you still tap dance? Do you still got chops?
So it's so funny you asked that, because last night uh, my wife and I think you know that I have a history with acting, with theater, and so my wife and I have opened a theater company up in Westchester County, and we just in February 1st, we moved into our new space, and it's a space for really for education and for rehearsal. It's not a big theater or anything like that, but last night I was feeling the itch. So I grabbed my shoes and a board that I built for my kids, and I went over to the space, and for an hour, I jammed for a bit. So I will say I still got it. I'm a little sloppy. But I still got it.
That's incredible, man. So no, I didn't know, or I didn't pay attention to if you told me, I didn't pay attention. It didn't register in my brain. But yeah, so let's see if we can get down there organically. So
Yeah.
you go on tour for a year. This is a coming of age story.
Yeah.
Exciting. Okay. Tour ends, you come back, you do what?
Yeah, I went back to school. So
Yeah.
I arranged to go to American University. I was coming in as a communications major. You know, 2 years prior, I really thought radio broadcasting, TV broadcasting, something in that world. NBC was right down the street from American University, so I was really keen on that. I'm not even a semester in, and I get roped in by the theater kids. You know, they became really wonderful friends of mine, and started auditioning for shows. Ended up declaring myself a double major as a music theater performer, and also arts management major. So I worked through those 4 years of college, achieving both, doing both of those degrees, and all the while still keeping in touch with Tap Dogs. I did those industrials. We went to Bali together. I did the Reno gig, and I finish. I get to my senior year of college, and I think, well, I don't even know if I really want to do this for professional work. Let me go out into the community and audition for a couple of shows in DC. And I auditioned for Gypsy, which is being performed at the Signature Theater in DC, and is directed by Byork Lee, who was the original Connie in A Chorus Line. And I got it. So I all of a sudden find myself balancing, schoolwork and doing professional theater in DC. And I get out of college, I graduate, and I land. I did another gig with Tap Dogs too, because I could. I did a 3-month gig with them, and then I also managed to get my equity card by landing a show over at the Ford's Theater, performing in A Christmas Carol there. So my time in DC that followed, the next 7 years or so, I really tried to balance doing what I really loved, which was performance, because it was fun. But I also wanted to get into the business of things, and so hence the degree in arts management. I always wanted to do business, and I landed a job at the Folger Shakespeare Library as the manager of the Folger Consort, which is an early music group that's in residence there. They do about 20 to 30 concerts there at the Folger Shakespeare Library, and they also tour around town. And I negotiated with them a relatively part-time position So I was there in the office about 3 or 4 days a week, but my hours were flexible, so I could still audition, I could still do shows when they came up. So so DC was great. I got to do a lot. I was very, very busy, but I really feel like I had two different careers kind of happening at the same time. And to bring things back a little bit to City Tutors, this is the point in my career where I really have to acknowledge that having a mentor was something that really meant a lot to me. I was asked to do a performance. I was asked to lead a group of tap dancers in opening the Kennedy Center Gala in 2006. I think it was 2006. I might have the year wrong, but either way, I do the performance. And while I'm there, I meet the lead producer on the show. Guy's name is Robert Pullen. He was the director of special programming and producer of all the galas that were there at the Kennedy Center. And he, recognized that I wanted to do more than just perform. And so he invited me for the next 3 years to do multiple projects with him. And so I went from his assistant all the way up to associate producer of doing these big shows, these big galas, celebrations that would happen at the Kennedy Center. And I had a chance along the way to meet Michael Kaiser as well, who was the CEO at the time of the Kennedy Center, and a real leader in arts management. So the two of them have had a real profound influence on sort of my career and how I feel about management of the arts.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for tying us into the mentorship arm. I usually ask this question later, but we're all over the place now, but it's going great. Best advice you got from these mentors.
Best advice. Well, so, okay. To be honest, the best advice that I got, I didn't take. And I do regret it a little bit. The best advice that I got was actually from Michael Kaiser himself. He was not somebody that I spoke to regularly, right? He's the big guy. Robert I'm friends with, but Michael and I sat in his office and he asked me, what I wanted to do. And he asked me sort of where I saw myself going, how much money I wanted to make. And even that question was a shock. No one had ever talked to me directly about how much money do you want to make? How much is enough? That kind of thing. And it's an important question to answer.
Yeah.
And at the end of the conversation, he offered for me to become part of the fellowship, the Kennedy Center Fellowship program that they have there. It's an amazing arts management program. And when we sat down together, I had already signed a lease in New York. I had already, mentally checked out of DC. I was moving to New York. This part of my life was done. I needed to, and so I turned him down. Mm-hmm. And if I had just had somebody who could have just knocked me in the head and said, David, what are you thinking? Like, this is an incredible opportunity. You should really consider doing this. And I was too blind to see it. That's probably the best career advice I've been given, and I didn't take it.
Well, here's a question for you. So if you had already signed the lease, what if you played that back in your mind?
Yeah.
Could you have simply broken the lease? Like, could you?
Sure. Yeah.
The things you were committed to, you could have.
This was a mental block, Kevin. This was definitely something that, if I look back, I can't look back too much because I like who I am, and I really like my wife and my kids, all of whom I met, I met my wife in New York. And, it's like, if I had changed the trajectory, that this part wouldn't happen. So,
right.
But just thinking back, yes, could have broken the lease. I think the lesson here is, in the moment, you've got to be brave and be strong enough to take the step that maybe you don't expect. right? This is the left brain of me. Like I planned something out. I wanted to execute on it and follow it through. And I was thrown a curveball and I didn't know how to take it.
You know, the arts can be like that. The arts can definitely be like that. I had a similar relationship with Tina Fey. I was terrified of Tina Fey. I'm 4 times her size. I'm terrified of this woman. And she was so sweet. She was so sweet to me. And I remember we're at the Golden Globes or something, and we're nominated or something. And we go to the table. It was one of those award shows where you're dining. Some of them are auditorium style and some are dinner table style. So it was one of those award shows that were table setting and whatever. So I go to my place where I'm sitting and I see that I'm seated next to Tina Fey. And I'm terrified of this woman because she was the queen. Everybody was holding on to her cake. The whole NBC was holding on to her cake. Everybody. She made the network fly. And I've watched people disappear during the 7 years of the production, not because of her. She doesn't say, fire, you're fired. She doesn't do that. It's the minions, the people around. If somebody oversteps and one of her protectors sees they out of line, you never see that person again. Now, nobody ever told me this. This is just my observation. I go to new environments and I observe. As a comedian, we observe. So when I get to this award show and I see my place setting, my dinner setting, and I see it next to Tina Fey, I feel horrible, right? Because I'm not worthy. I'm Wayne's World. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. So when she comes to sit down, I go, Tina, I'm so sorry. You have to sit next to me throughout the whole award show. I'm so sorry. And she goes, .com, because I had that name before the show. She goes, .com, I asked them to sit you next to me, right? And I didn't know how to process it. I don't know what that means. I know now I can describe it now, but at the time it was happening, I didn't know what it meant. And we're sitting and we're laughing and we're talking, and she says everything that's coming out of her mouth is hilarious. But if you're not sitting right next to her, you won't hear it. Mm. But she's hilarious. She's brilliant. She's bright. Anybody that moves, she said something, a one-liner. She's just throwing out one-liners like Rodney Dangerfield. And I'm like, this chick is a beast, right? She's a comedy monster. So I'm experiencing that, but I'm timid because I don't want to be one of those people that disappears, because I thought I had a friend and I say something crazy and now my phone stops ringing, right? But the best advice she gave me in a roundabout way was to be fearless. Right? Be fearless when cast members come to Saturday Night Live and there's all this comedy energy, some of the greatest comedy minds of our time. When the young guns come, when the young cast members come, they have to just be absolutely fearless. Don't worry about bombing. Don't worry about and that's the creative thing, right?
Yeah.
You got offered the opportunity, and you might say, there's always some curiosity. There's some maybe I should have, but but it's one of those things you can't know. You can't know when it comes to your trajectory and your there's just no way to know.
Yeah, and I think that goes absolutely across industries. We're talking specifically about the performing arts, which is, you and I both know, pretty cutthroat, and you got to get yourself out there. But it's true of anything. If you're offered an opportunity that you think could really, really make you go somewhere, and it might be slightly uncomfortable in some way, you got to be fearless and go for it.
Absolutely. So I think about that stuff in this arena for me. Because anything you do, anything that's new, coming back to college was scary. Was why am I doing it? What am I doing? Why? What? All those questions. But all that being said, okay, So you make the decision, turn that down, come back to New York.
Yeah, you know when I moved to New York? I moved to New York in 2008. So right when everything crashed. So I move up here. I quit my job at the Folger. I'm freelancing, doing theater work. I'm teaching tap on the sides. I'm still teaching master classes. And I come to New York thinking, oh, I'm gonna break into the theater producing business, get into events up here. And every job interview that I had set up, every informational conversation, turned to that. It was information. No one was hiring anymore. Like everybody had a hiring freeze. So that was very scary. They come up to New York, a very expensive city. And then, realize that 5-6 months later, there's nothing happening. So funny enough, I'm in the city thinking I'm going to get some 9-to-5, job in the events world or in the theater producing world. And I was like, man, I guess I got to start auditioning again. So I landed a job back in DC at Arena Stage. I did a show there. I did an off-Broadway show at the Theater Row. And it was during that show at Theater Row that an opportunity came available at City College. I came in and met with the director of government affairs at the time and the vice president. And we talked for a long time about their events management or lack of office of events management at the college. And ultimately I was hired to come create an office of events management here at City College. So that's how my relationship with City College, which is how you know me, got started. So I really went from this shift of performing arts and arts management into gala and event producing through the performing arts. And then that slowly somehow led me into education.
Yes. Okay. So unpacking a couple other things you said. You said just started a theater company with your wife upstate.
Yeah, I'll tell you, my wife, she also from DC. We did not know each other. We did not meet. I think we passed at a party once in DC. I think I had said to somebody, "Oh, who's that?" and never met her. So we happened to move up to New York City at the same time, and we met at a mutual friend's birthday party, and we started dating, and that was it. Like we met our soulmate. I mean, I met my soulmate. I'll speak for me. It's a wonderful relationship, and she is an incredible actor. She did some wonderful work in DC. When she moved to New York, her idea was also to shift away. So she's established her own business in personal training and yoga instruction. So we both moved away from acting, from theater, and built a family. And now 10 years later, my eldest is 10. We decided that there was something missing. We had this long conversation about, what we wanted to just do with our lives. We have one life. What can we do with it? And how also can we give back to the community? So we established a company that would produce theater work and give back to other nonprofits in the area. So every show that we do, we have some sort of theme, some issue that we're tackling, and then a portion of our proceeds raised from ticket sales will then go to a nonprofit that helps address that issue. The company is called River's Edge Theater Company, and we started it in August of 2019. So right before the pandemic, we did two in-person shows right away that fall, and then at our third was literally the week right before the entire world shut down. So we kept the company alive doing virtual work. We became a nonprofit over the last 6 months. And so now we just opened up a new space, which is going to be really focused on theater education for the kids, but it'll also serve as a hub for our rehearsals. We're going to be hosting monthly readings of plays for the community. People can stop by and hear them for free. And it's just a really exciting time for this little theater company that could.
Nice. Okay. That sounds great. So as far as your well, you mentioned that you last night you pulled out the tap shoes.
Yeah, it's the first time in a long time. Yeah.
How'd you feel? How'd your body feel today when you woke up?
Sore.
Was it like noticeable? Like, oh, yesterday I overdid it. Was it like that?
No, it was, I tell you, more than anything else, it was a mental high. I'd gotten the shoes out occasionally. One thing I'm not telling you is I had a little bit of a health scare about 10 years ago, and it stopped me from being able to teach. So I kind of shut that part out. Like I didn't want to teach anymore, right? And so I wasn't putting on my shoes. I've been very out of that world, and thankfully I'm fine. And medicines being what they are, I feel like I can dance again. So that's a recent thing. Like in the last 6 months, I really felt like I can put my shoes back on, and I've done that with my kids. Like, here, let's learn a step. But last night was the first time I really just did it for me. Shut myself in a room and just kind of jam. You asked me how my body feels. My body's fine, but I feel really good about the choice of doing something for me. That made me feel good and was artistically expressive. And I think it's important to have something like that in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the reasons I'm enjoying things for myself so much right now is I will circle back in life to things that I used to do when I was a young man.
Yeah.
And I only do what makes me happy. And I have the luxury of being able to say, no, I'm not. No, thank you. Right. But if you see me doing something, I'm doing it because I enjoy it.
Sure.
Right. When you see me on campus, I told you my classes are at the downtown campus. I have no official business at the uptown campus except for this position as the grad student council, but I have no obligation to be there. Right. My obligation is my educational obligation is downtown. So I'm enjoying what I participate in, and that's so necessary as far as those things we did, we reminisced when we were young. They leave an indelible mark.
Absolutely.
They definitely, especially creatively, artistically, they definitely leave their mark. And when you go back to it, if you're physically capable, if you're blessed enough to have the health, because health is like, wow, you can
it's everything.
Yeah. Because I've had pains. I had bronchitis once, thought I was going to die. It was painful. I had COVID for 90 days, thought I was going to die.
Wait, did you say you had COVID for 90 days?
It took me 90 days to recover.
Wow. Yeah.
It took me 90 days. And I had 7-day periods where I just froze. No matter how many blankets I wore, no matter how, turn the oven on, put the heater on, and I'm freezing day and night. And then I had 7 days where I sweat day and night. No, I could put on an air conditioner and I'm sweating day and night. I had a moment where I fell on the floor. I was on my way to the bathroom. I fell on the floor with COVID, and I had to have laid there for like a day and a half. Like, couldn't get up. I was so weak, I couldn't get up. And because I had COVID, nobody's visiting. It's not like I had guests. Everybody's quarantined. My family would drive by and slide food and supplies. It was like that prison slot. It was everybody, and when I had it, we knew nothing. There was no vaccine. Everybody was scared. People passing away. We lost so many people, so many beautiful people. But the point is when your health is in jeopardy, right?
Yeah.
When I woke up one day, I was over. When I try to get in shape, sometimes I overdo it. Often I overdo it. So I work hard. I'm doing great for 6 months. I'd start going hard, and then I'll get an injury, and all the progress I made, I give it back.
Right.
So when I go to work out now, I make sure that I don't overdo it and I don't get injured because it's going to set me back so far. But I was going to the gym. I was going to the weight room, and I was doing the hot yoga, the Bikram yoga, which are two conflicting exercises.
Yeah.
And one Sunday, I woke up and my back was gone. I couldn't move. When your back goes, everything goes.
Everything goes. Yeah. I've totally been there. In fact, I was teaching one day in Virginia, and in the middle of a private lesson, I went down, and I don't know how, but somehow I dragged myself to my car, drove home, and dragged myself inside up to my bed. And somehow, similar to your COVID experience, I was just in my room in pain for like a week. It was, oh my God, it was horrible. So yeah, your back goes, everything goes. You take care of your body.
Yeah, there are just so many things that can cripple you when you think you got it. Just remember, just keep stuff in mind, right? So,
well, I think you bring up something that's actually, I think, really important, which is whether it's you're talking about that person that becomes a mentor, a tutor for you, or if you're talking about a special opportunity that you're able to take advantage of, or just your health. I mean, to be grateful at every step of the way is really important, because there's always someone in a worse position than you are, and it's I think it's just important to give thanks for what you have and what you're capable of doing, and so that helps me. I know, just get through the day, especially hard times. You start to just sort of go through your mind of what you do have and be thankful for that.
Absolutely. So this theater company, Jazz, this sounds like a exciting moment in time.
Oh, well, just wait for your I'll send you an invitation to the next show.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm there. So in theater management, is becoming a not-for-profit strategic, or it's pretty much the destination?
You mean for our company?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for us, it was strategic. As an independent for-profit company, it's all you. You can do whatever you want with the money. It's you. It's your business. But the nonprofit for performing arts was key, because we want to grow what we're doing in such a way that will rely on donations. And in order for an individual to feel like they're getting a tax deduction for that donation, I think it's one thing for people to give $20-$30 here and there, if they have that, and maybe not care so much about the tax deductible part of it. But as we grow the company, we're going to look for those larger donations to sustain a season, to pay for artists, to do bigger and better shows. We've been very creative about where we produce, whether that's in a bar or someone's outdoor fire pit, or there's been lots of very interesting places that we've chosen to perform. And if we start to want to do costumes and lighting, we're considering an outdoor piece, and we've got to do body mics. It just all gets more expensive. So we want to make sure we're able to offer the tax deduction for donations.
Are your little ones performers?
I think so. I don't think all of them are destined for the stage, just based on their personality, not on their talent. Their talent is wonderful. They're amazing. My eldest is playing piano at the moment, and doing lyrical dance. my second, who's 7, she's a ham. She's ready to take on the stage with a microphone and host something. I mean, she's hilarious and will definitely, I'm sure, pursue something in the arts. She's doing hip hop right now, playing ukulele. My youngest is 4, so she's yet to blossom into a performer, but we'll get her roped in somehow.
Right. Okay. Really cool. Really cool. So, we got you to City College. We went through the journey of your story. What did we leave out?
Well, my journey at City College was really a hard one at first. There was the college, the CUNY atmosphere, I think, to your point earlier, can be extremely intellectual and my way or the highway kind of a feel. The environment, I thought, was just challenging to kind of get used to. But fortunately, I had a good office and got to grow in the position that I had. Where I sit now is I'm the executive director for the Alumni Association of the City College of New York, which is technically a separate organization, but it's housed here on this campus. I got into this position really through networking. The executive director at the time of the organization started meeting with me regularly and just sort of saw that I had a bigger picture for his organization, and ultimately recruited me to take his place upon his retirement. So I was really fortunate in that. I think a big part of career trajectory is not necessarily what happens within your job 9 to 5, but instead of the connections that you make, the impressions that you make. I was very fortunate to eventually make my way into this role. So this has been now my 4th year doing it. I've really felt more like a COVID executive director, because a lot of my time has been spent on how to keep this organization running through COVID years. Membership really went down, and we struggled, I think, as as many small nonprofits did during COVID, and probably still do. But fortunately, we've made it through, and I believe very strongly that we're poised well for some growth over the next couple of years. So this is where I am now. It's really trying to do what I wanted to do 3 years ago before COVID hit, which is to focus on the growth of this alumni association here.
Yes. Okay. That's really cool. And I'm signed up to be a part of that. I want to make the Alumni Association everything it could be, everything I saw in the movies. You watch these movies and the alumni, they come in and they impose their will. I've told you these things. They impose their will on the school and get their wealthy friends to write checks and stuff like that. And that's what I envisioned for City College. And so that's a place I would like to be. But it starts with, I'm one of those guys that when I'm staying in a hotel, I clean up the room a little bit before housekeeping comes in, right?
Of course.
And that's how I feel about City College. I feel like I have to come and do a little housekeeping before I bring my, relationships to the campus. And who knows what you're going to find hidden under a mattress, right?
Yeah.
So we still have some work to do.
Wrong. Yeah, you're not wrong there. I think there's a lot of work to be done.
Yeah. We still have some work to do, but we're getting there. I'm very optimistic. As a matter of fact, the last time I saw you, we were in the hall. I was on the phone, but the great event was going on in the great hall. And when I went in there, I was like, "This is the City College I remember. This is how it's supposed to be."
Yeah.
Just students being students. And to me, when you are a student and you are maneuvering when the school is doing it right, you're a student, and that's all you are. You're not worried about a balloon from China. You're not worried about, brutality. You're just young people exchanging thoughts, growing, blossoming, feeling like you can change the world.
Yeah. That's
how college is supposed to be. Now, when you get out, you realize, well, I can't change the whole world, but I can change my little world. but that event where I saw you in the hall was reminiscent. It was the reason I come back. It's the reason I stay, the reason they'll never get rid of me. But it was reminiscent. So I'm optimistic at that. And we didn't get a chance to speak. And I was so distracted, the phone and the down and whatever. But we all have to work together. You probably heard me say this before. The school was moving like a car with 3 flat tires, right? The administrators had to do their job, right? They're paid, they're hired, their staff, their faculty. They have to do the best they can, but they can't do it alone.
Right.
You have to have the other flat tires are the alumni has to take responsibility and come back to their school and make sure their school is okay. Just like you make sure, let me go check on my little brother. Let me check on my kid's sister, right? You got to make sure your people got to go back to your neighborhood. Make sure you see if they need you.
Yeah.
The undergrads and the grads were not proactive. The community engagement, it was underserved, and all of those things have to be. We can't take those things for granted. You can drive with 3 flat tires, but you're not going to get far. You're not going to get far at all.
No, I couldn't agree with you more about working together and the fact that it really is a real community, and you've got to step up and take responsibility for your part of that. And there's a point in your life when you are stepping on the shoulders of other people. You're making your way up into the world. You're relying on someone else who already has walked that path to reach down and to show you the way. But when you get to that point, when you are on that path, you have that position you've reached a point in your career where you can turn around and offer the hand to the next generation. That is the most important thing you can do. And we're referring in our conversations mostly to alumni because that's what we've been connecting on. But it's not just that. It could be someone in your industry, at your business. It could be someone in the family. But it's about community and making sure that you can pass it on, leave the space better than you found it, leave the world better than the way that you found it. And I think that what's happening at City College, I am genuinely excited about. I think that there are the right people in strategic positions that are open and willing to work together to make something very special happen here. And if we can just get over the humps of the past, the issues, the politics that have kind of weighted down this progress previously, then I think we can achieve some great things at this college and even at the CUNY level. So I'm very thankful already for you and your advocacy. I think that you've really helped bridge some of the gaps. State and city government, CUNY being a state-funded school, it's very easy to get siloed. It's very easy to become complacent in your union job. And I can speak that way because I was union at the college before moving over to this position.
Right.
And we have to sort of find a way to get that system to work where people are encouraged to not be so siloed and to work together for the greater benefit of our students, where they can walk into that great hall just like you witnessed and not worry about the politics and that crap that's happening behind closed doors, right? Our work is to make sure that they have it as easy as possible. It's not easy, I know, but easy as possible to get their education and then go out and make the world a better place. Just as so.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're definitely we definitely aligned in our thoughts as far as that goes. And one of the things I do feel proud about is, I'm hosting a leadership summit coming up in a couple of days, and there was this joke that I heard on one of my favorite TV shows, The West Wing. Right,
my favorite show.
Yes, I'll binge watch The West Wing whenever I run across it. I'll binge watch. It comes on Thanksgiving every year, and I'll watch it all the way through, and I know everything that's going to happen.
Great show. Great show.
Yes, absolutely. So, joke from The West Wing. What do you call a leader with no followers? Just a guy taking a walk.
That's right. Yeah.
And that's definitely not my joke. That's definitely from The West Wing. But the point is, what do you call a school with no students, right? It's just an empty building, right? It's just a shell of whatever it is, right? Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Which is more important, the teacher or the student, right? Who has more to learn, the teacher or the student? All these questions. Yeah. But the reality is the colleges are where those conversations take place, where you not just answer the question, but you also try to find the answer. And you can't have a conversation by yourself. You need someone to exchange the dialogue with.
That's right.
So I go around, I go around to offices and I impose my will. I stick my head in, but I'm trying to let people know you're not alone. You're not alone. Nobody wants to be the guy taking a walk. You want to lead something. You want to know followers are going to show up, and that's important. Because I'm not the smartest guy in the room, I don't have to know the answers. I have the luxury of not having to come up with the answer, right? Just ask you the question. You'll come up with the answer. That's your problem. All I got to do is show up and let you know I'm here. I'm here if you need me. I don't know what to say, but one of these people know.
Right.
We got to make them feel comfortable to say it.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, what you're doing really is a beautiful thing for the campus. I can't thank you and encourage you enough to keep going. So
I'm trying, man. But you guys inspire me. You guys absolutely inspire me. You make it a lot of fun. And again, I thank you. I thank you so much for joining me on this, right? On this aspect. I sent you the video, right? I sent you the video of the music things,
Yeah.
Right?
I replied. I said I thought they were really cool. The one of them, the Emmett Till one, quite moving, sad, but well executed, Kev.
Well, thank you. But what I wanted to do, these things started coming to me since June of 2021.
Right.
And I would go to sleep and wake up and just stuff comes out. And they all started as poems. Like, it's not like I'm trying to get a rap career. They started as poems. And I was like, I don't know where this stuff is coming from, but it was being written by the Black Studies Department at City College, basically, because I was taking all these classes.
Right.
And then some millennial said, you should put it to music. You should put it to a beat. And then put it to a beat and it started sounding okay. Then I saw Beyonce did a video with words and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do what Beyonce did. Let me see how that's going to look. And it really started turning into something.
Yeah.
But when it was coming to me, I wrote 15 pieces.
You wrote 15 pieces?
I wrote 15 pieces, right?
I gotta hear the others, yeah.
And no one's heard them. No one's heard them. It's just stuff I wrote. But what I'm trying to demonstrate is we have a lot of people at City College who are super talented. You know, the same way you stunned me with the tour story, right? But you're not alone, right? There's other people that have these stories. Yeah. And the young people, their students don't know how cool, right? How cool the faculty is, how cool their professors are.
Well, what I like about this style of interview and getting to know an individual, not just their role at a company, is I think where you start to prove that nothing is really just so linear. You have a very storied, a very long, interesting path called life, and you got to enjoy every moment of it. And I think the most interesting people that I know still don't know what they want to do when they grow up. right? Because they're still searching, they're still so interested in asking those questions, like you said, right? They're not the smartest person in the room, self-admitting that, and it's just a constant exploration. I love that. Love that. So I hope that the next time we do this, I can shock you again by saying I've done something else crazy.
Well, you know what we could start? We could start by this was I didn't pitch this to City Tutors first, right? I may have pitched it to the theater department first.
I think so.
Then I pitched it to you second.
Yeah.
And then I pitched it to Greg around the same, maybe the same day that I pitched it to you. Greg Schenk and Aaron Davis Hall.
Yeah, because we met about the comedy show that we ended up doing.
Yes. And then I pitched it to Gary. And Gary Rifkin, City Tutors executive director. So he just jumped on it, right? He was just like, bet.
Well, Gary's one of those guys too. I mean, City College alum. I know him from here, and he's one of those guys that does exactly what we talked about earlier. Has an opportunity, embraces it, and runs with it. Like that's something that I've learned from him. Is that he sees any sort of value and he'll go for it, which is great.
Yeah. And I told him, I said this to him, but I was kind of being facetious, but I said, when those big time rappers pass away, when Biggie passed, when Tupac passed, they dropped 3 more albums after they passed. Because when you get an opportunity to put someone of exception in when you get an opportunity to put them at bat, you let them swing. You let them swing. So I was saying it facetiously to sell the idea to him, saying, dude, you got .com. Let me do the interviews and just keep them coming, because I know my phone's going to ring. My phone's been ringing my whole career with opportunities, right? So, and I'm always waiting for Steven Spielberg to call me and offer me an opportunity, or Oprah Winfrey to call me and offer me an opportunity, but it's never them, but it's still a great opportunity. So Gary, take advantage of me while I'm here, right? And he's doing it. He's loading me up with these interviews, but the point is, put them in the can, right? Let's do them. Let's get them out the way. We have 3 seasons of interviews already.
That's amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
And they're going so well, and it increases the engagement. Now, let's expand upon it, because all of you have a particular set of skills. Remember that line from Taken? All of you have a particular set of skills. And I have a particular set of skills. If we form a collaboration with the skills, meaning you guys, City Tutors has an amazing database. The Alumni Association has an amazing alumni group where, the dude from Taxi is the City College graduate, and he would love to come back to his school, but nobody's calling him to come back to his school. It's like, well, let's. There's certain interactions that don't have to be so academic, that don't have to be so formal, right? And I'm trying to nudge, passionately nudge my academic environment to say, dude, these people, sometimes they want a phone call where you're not asking them for a check, but you're asking them for a collaboration. You're asking them for an interaction. You're asking them for something that they're really going to have a good time with. And we can elevate this starting here.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with Gary the other day, and I gave him a brilliant idea. Like this one is so tremendous. I'm not afraid to tell you, but I'm not going to tell you on tape, right? But it's absolutely brilliant. It'll change everybody's life. But with the fact that we already work together, right? You're already, City Tutors and the Alumni Association are already collaborating on things. Mm-hmm. But we can expand the collaboration, because it's not just for us, right? It's for your 10-year-old, right? It's for my 14-year-old. It's for all the kids in the neighborhood. It's for all the people that think, it's for everybody who already signed the lease in New York when they're getting an opportunity of a lifetime and doesn't know, hey, there's other leases.
Yeah.
Right? It's for all, we're doing it for all that. And I say, let's get out of our own way. Aaron Davis Hall. I fell in love with Aaron Davis Hall 30 years ago.
Yeah.
I still can't get Greg Shank. He still offers me a show. He offers me a show a year, right? Okay, y'all going to do the Alumni Association, whatever. And I'm like, Greg, Aaron Davis Hall, I fell in love with this one when I was 20, Greg. Get out the way. Let me plant a flag here and make all the kids in the neighborhood, let's give them access. Because I don't want to take my knowledge to my grave with me. Right. I don't want to take my experience to my grave. I want to bring it home. City College is home. I claimed it. You can't control that. Let me come home. Stop whatever you're doing. Stop all that bureaucratic, academic, whatever. Let's build and because it's not for us anymore. It's bigger than us.
That's right. It brings it right back to community, like we were talking about before. And I mean, even if you wanted to just talk pure numbers, the City College did a study not that long ago with the study group EMSI. The economic impact in New York City and the surrounding 10 counties was 1.9 billion. 1.9 billion. And that's just from City College, not CUNY, City College. We have an effect on this community. Alumni, what you're doing out there has an effect on your alma mater and this community. And it's so important to like you said, give back. And I will do everything in my power to help encourage this much more casual, less academic, beautiful conversation that we've had today, and encourage it to happen with alumni too. So absolutely, we're gonna keep working together for sure.
Yeah, I absolutely want to be a part of that. And I talk more than you in this interview. We cutting all that out. We're cutting all my words out. And we're just
you got to keep some of it in. It's a good conversation.
It was a great conversation. Great conversation. Thank you, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
It's my pleasure, really. Thank you for doing what you're doing.
Thank you. All right. Take care, Dave.
You too, Kev.
Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.